So, yes, you read the title correctly. I love Jesus, but I hate Christmas. Let me talk about it, okay? The reason why is because I think we often want to say that Christmas, that it's all about Jesus, right? And we want to say that Jesus is the reason for the season. And I do believe that. And I do believe that from a young age, I was taught that Jesus is the reason for the season. I always was taught that all the other things are really cool and can be really fun things to do. That, the Santa and everything else, the Christmas movies, the lights, all those things are cool, but they're not what Christmas is about. However, my issue is that it ends up being everything else, right? One of the issues that I have is that a lot of the times with Christmas, we end up kind of making it this thing where if we say that it's all about Jesus, right? But if we don't provide presents, then are we really doing Christmas? If we don't put up a Christmas tree, are we really doing Christmas? If we don't put up the Christmas lights, are we really doing Christmas? If we don't go see the Christmas parade or go do all of these other things, then people feel like it's not Christmas. I feel like Christmas is one of the only holidays that's kind of like that, right? For Easter, we don't sit there and say, if you don't do an Easter egg hunt, then you haven't had Easter. I don't hear a lot of people saying that. Now, there might be some people that say that, but there's not a whole lot of people that say that, right? The Thanksgiving, okay? If we can't say, like, honestly, Thanksgiving, a lot of it is eating a meal together and all those other things. But is it, if we don't watch a football game, then it's not Thanksgiving? Is it all of these other things that make the Thanksgiving? No. I mean, I think that, like, there are some staples, there are some things that we want to remember, and the things that, like, people like to do around Thanksgiving, but we also believe that people can do Thanksgiving in a whole lot of different ways. Whereas I feel like Christmas, a lot of the things that we feel like we have to do or whatever, we kind of do have to do the same. And even though everybody has their different Christmas traditions or whatever, ultimately, if you don't have a Christmas tradition, you don't have something that you do around Christmas that seems Christmassy, people kind of look at you kind of weird. And with that, one of the things that I don't like about that is that I don't like the gift part of it, okay? I know we say that it's all the season of giving and that we're supposed to be giving, but here is the issue with that, okay? If we are giving, someone has to be receiving. You can't give something that nobody receives. And so there's always got to be someone on the receiving end of that. And so when we say, oh, this is the season of giving, we just want to make sure that we give. We want to make sure that we give to all these people. What we don't understand is a lot of the times we're putting stress on a whole lot of people. I know a whole lot of people that fall into some of these categories, okay? One is that they can't afford to get people gifts for Christmas. And see, the issue is because it's the season of giving gifts, a lot of the times if you don't give a gift to someone, they feel like they're not wanted, they feel like they're not cared about, they feel like they're not loved. And it doesn't mean any of those things. It doesn't mean that they're not loved, that they're not appreciated, all those other things. It just means that, wow, we maybe couldn't afford it this year. But then there's the other category of people where they might have the money, but they don't know what to get for people. I know me, no matter where I've been financially throughout all of my life, okay? Throughout all the times that I've been working and had a job or whatever since I've been in high school, right? Every time that I've had to get people gifts, it's always this stress. It's always this worry because I don't actually feel like I get people gifts that they want. And it's a struggle that I have. And I always struggled with that because I'm like, yes, like I could get people something off of their wish list. But does that feel like it cares enough? Does that feel like it's something that is thoughtful enough? And a lot of the times people would say, no, that's not thoughtful enough. And then, oh, if I give them money or whatever, then people say, oh, you really didn't think about them or whatever. And it's just this whole stress of getting people the right things, because if I don't get people the right things, then people are going to look at me crazy. And people are going to think that I don't care about them. It's not that I don't love them and I don't care about them. It's just that, hey, I don't know what to get you. And even people that I know pretty well, I struggle sometimes to get something for them because I'm like, hey, I have this certain price point that I have to be at, and I have to get something that they're actually going to use. But sometimes, some people, depending on who they are, if you get someone something that they can use, but it's not like thoughtful in a sense, then people get upset or whatever. And like it's just so much stress that is brought around this holiday season. And that's kind of one of the things that just kind of makes me say, "Ooh, I'm not sure if I really like Christmas." But then the next thing is Christmas music, okay? I'm sorry, y'all. Christmas music gets really old. It gets really old very quickly. And it's because a lot of the Christmas music is the same song done in five different ways. Like, we can look at a song and be like, oh, this is a really cool Christmas song. Well, guess what? Now there's going to be seven different versions of it or whatever. Like, we just have so many different versions of Silent Night. We have so many different versions of Joy to the World. And how many times can you hear those things without you being like, okay, this is kind of the same thing. They might have put a riff here. They might have done this thing. They might have put a different beat here, but it's the same song. And it's very hard to look at it and say like, oh, this isn't kind of annoying. Lastly, I just can't stand all of the things that you feel like you have to do when it comes to Christmas. Okay? I probably spoke about this earlier in the video. Honestly, it's just been kind of a rant video, so I've kind of forgot what I've said earlier in the video. But I feel like I might have said this, but if not, whatever. I have this issue where it seems like every time that Christmas comes around, there are things that you have to do, traditions that you have to do that if you don't do it, oh, is it really Christmas? Oh my gosh, are people really gonna feel like it's Christmas if you don't put up the Christmas tree, if you don't go put up Christmas lights, if you don't go to the Christmas parade, if you don't decorate cookies and all those other things? And it's just a whole nother layer to things that kind of just gets annoying. I'm just not one of those people that feels like I have to do all these certain rituals in order for it to be a Christmas thing or whatever. And I don't like having to create Christmas traditions, and I don't like having to do all these other things. And again, people have told me in the past, once you have kids, it'll change everything. And it didn't. It didn't change anything for me. It actually made it worse because now I have more of an obligation to get all the kids something and to make sure that they all feel like they're equally loved and that they all have gotten gifts. And then I got to make sure that I get things for my coworkers, and I've got to make sure I get things for some of my friends. I've got to make sure to get things for other extended family. It's just all of this stress over this holiday that I don't like. I think I'd be okay if Christmas was just about Jesus and Christmas was just about how great Jesus is or whatever else. But it's the fact that it's not about that. And I could be able to say, well, you say, well, Baba, can't you just be able to change it all around, and can't you just be able to just do yours different where you do it this way? And I could, but if I do, the issue is that unless you've done that and conditioned a whole family to do that since like they were little or whatever, there's no way to be able to make people be okay with that. Because if once they've gotten used to doing things a certain way, then they feel bad or they feel disappointed or whatever else if you change that. And so that's one thing about Christmas. Now we're getting out of the Christmas season, I can kind of flesh out those thoughts. And I don't know, maybe it'll change someday. But I've definitely felt like that for the past like at least like 5 years of my life. I've just hated Christmas. I've just waited for the season to be done. And that might sound depressing to some people, but it's just true. I just don't really enjoy it. I don't have a good time doing it. Even sometimes giving people gifts, even if it's something that they want, even if it's something that I've thought through and all that, it sometimes just feels like it kind of just comes up empty, you know? And I'm not saying that like, oh, I just want all of these things or whatever, because there's not really anything that I need to get for Christmas or whatever. Anytime that somebody gets me something, I feel so happy about it. I'm so grateful for it. But it's just the whole holiday just feels like it's a whole stress on everybody's wallets and everybody's time and everything else. And I just struggle with that. And that's just the thing that's kind of been weird for me for the past few years. And I don't really know how else to explain that. But I just felt like I needed to say that. Maybe there's someone else who agrees. Maybe we can talk about it in the comments below about maybe some of the things that we don't like. Maybe you can tell me about how you have learned to like Christmas if you didn't before, whatever else. That'd be really awesome to hear. I'd love to hear your thoughts below. My plan is this year, okay, this year in 2025, okay, to actually be more active on this channel. And so occasionally you're going to get rant videos that aren't really like these structured videos or whatever, just so we can be able to get videos out there, because I hate that you guys get like 3 month gaps without me doing videos and all that type of stuff. So I wanted to change that this year. And so we're starting with this, and might be a depressing way to start off the new year, but it's just true. And I'm hoping that you guys have a good new year. And like I said, comment below if you guys have different things that you've thought of when it comes to the Christmas season, or different things that have helped you kind of love it more or whatever else. Well, I'll see you guys in the comments section, and see you guys in the next video.